Well, good morning, and you join me on another adventure where we are just outside of Warminster, which is apparently, amongst other things, the UFO capital of the world. No, of Great Britain, England, I don't know. Anyway, we've got a tank there. We're outside the Harman lines. What we're going to do is, this is one of the few days the public will have access to the lost village or ghost village of Imber, and I was just reading the information. So Imber was evacuated in 1943 for military training. The 150 residents were given 47 days notice to leave, and very much like Tyneham down on the Dorset coast, they were never allowed back. So, complete livelihoods and, that whole family history was taken away from them. The trouble is the MOD dress it up as well. It's for the war effort. And the trouble is, Imber is in the middle of one of the largest military training grounds in the country, which is Salisbury Plain. So you could argue right or wrong. I don't know how well they got looked after or what the compensation was, but I just hope that it was worth it. So we're on the Imber Road. We are now going to trot down. So like I say, this road you don't normally have any access to. Quite a few people stopping to take photographs of the tank. So I've got a little bit of a cold. Typical Easter. So on the way up I had heavy rain. We had Storm Dave last night. Didn't have too much bother on the south coast, but it was still very windy. There we are, let Imber Road open. So as much as Imber's an interesting place, it's also quite nice to access some of these roads that you can't normally access. Although a few years ago you had a lot more access over here, and I think through people going where they shouldn't be going, they've put a close on that. So thank you for the idiots that spoil it for everybody else. So lovely views about on Salisbury Plain. Yeah, as usual, it's very windy up here. It's it's very exposed. Although high for the south coast, it's not high for people that are from the Midlands or up north. So all of that's no public access. So as appealing as it all looks for the Green Lane and off-roading fraternity, none of that is got any public access, and this was a problem. Even though signs were put up, people couldn't resist the play, and that's why the restrictions are heavier now than what they used to be. Lovely scenery out here. So as you can see, there's a bit of a tank graveyard. And again, we've had pictures of people standing on them when all the signs there are clearly stating please keep away, unexploded ordnance, but there we are. Couldn't be any clearer. But there's some old tracks. I'm not very well up on my tanks, but no idea what the net's all about. And I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but over there there's more old tanks dotted on the hillside there. I think originally they were probably used as target practice. And then they're just left to decay in the landscape. Quite ironic, the beasts of battle slowly decaying amongst the peace and serenity of nature. Here's a more classic sort of structure of a tank. There are a couple of sites on the plain where you can actually get up close, where they're right beside the byway, and another time I'll take you there. Now this byway you used to be able to use. Actually that does look open, so we may try that one. Coming, oh no, road closed. Always used to be open. That's a shame. Nothing severe, it's just that it was a nice little unsurfaced track, but this here, they're tumuli, so they're probably Neolithic burial mounds. There's a lot of them on the plain, so they have a markers around them, a non-impact zone, so you don't go and blow up the graves. Yeah, so from what I remember now, they were just coming into the village, and I'm pretty sure that up there there's a burial ground for a different faith. I wish I could remember what it was now. Baptist? Oh, there we are, that Baptist church. So the church is no longer there, but the burial ground is, but it's fenced off. So this was the pub, the Bell Inn. There we are. There's hope you can see that. There's the Bell Inn road sign and a car parked up there. Oh, that's good. I'm pleased they've done that. There we are. Bell Inn, 1840 to 1943, was a house. 1769. Philip Flower, overseer of the poor. Sounds like a very nice chap. Yeah, so there we are, the Bell Inn. I think these are more modern for training, they were. Council houses. So I don't know if you can pick that up. That was thatched cottages there, then replaced by council houses, which is now replaced by training areas. So as you can see, these are modern, rebuilt training houses. No access to any of these. And there's the church. So it's really nice that they've put all these signs, so it looks as though this space here was the original post office in there, which is no longer in sight. And so it looks as though here was the site of Imber School. And like I say, which is now taken over by the training houses. And along here a bit further, there we are, the Fricker family. Don't think you can see that very well. The sun's a bit funny with that. Parsonage Farm. So there we are, look, the concrete mock houses built for military training in 1976. This was the village centre. Imber Dock. Stream flowed alongside the high street, was piped underground during roadworks in the 1940s. I'm really pleased that they've put a lot more information about Imber on here now. That is really good. Another picture of the high street. This picture down Albert Nash the blacksmith. See that pile of horseshoes there? Looks as though he was a very busy man. There's another one, Tinker's Farm or Imber Farm, run by the Tinker family. So we're just walking up to this impressive building.
So Imber Court, and that's what it looked like 1920, and it looks like there was a fire, so that was the state of it after 1920. So they've put a roof on it, so it's sort of preserved, although you've got no access to it. I wonder, one day, will we? We'll see. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. 1911 at Jubilee Barn. Sadly demolished in the 1970s. 140 villages. So that is all that remains of Jubilee Barn. All gone back to nature. So we're now approaching the eastern edge of the village, and there's a few more buildings down here. Nag's Head Cottages. Well, there was another pub which would have been there, the Nag's Head Inn. So the external facade is still about the same, but obviously the inside they've used for training and created a staircase and put extra block walls in. Now the real shame is up ahead is what they call the American Road, and that used to be a lovely drive stroke ride, but again it's now no longer got any access to it. Now this building unfortunately got no information about it. I should imagine a farm building perhaps. See the sandbags up there. And then that's the last couple of buildings that's still standing on the site there. Don't know if you can see that date stone on the gable there, 1880, that building. So there we are, Seagram's Farm, that was. Photo from 1910, the Dean family. It's quite amazing, all that history, and then in one fell swoop it's all taken away. So it looks like we've got another house that is no more. The Hooper family, Brown's Farm. That obviously would have stood out there somewhere. Yeah, that was the vicarage that's been demolished, so even the vicarage didn't survive. Thank goodness the church is done, so we're just going to go on our way to the church now. So it looks as though the original Church Street, so the one path we're on now, obviously had some buildings along here, which again are no longer here. don't know if you can see that in the sun. People that gave their lives from the village during World War One. And then the village was repaid by having the houses taken away. For obvious reasons, I won't be doing much talking in the church, but just enjoy the little visit. As you can see, very busy in the church, and I think I would advise you to come out and have a look and spend an hour or so reading the information that's there available. And I'll just give you a view looking down onto the old village and the military training area there. Well, it certainly turned out to be a lovely day.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little walk around the village. So we're going to take the other road out. Going exiting on the east side. Probably be a few more interesting bits of decaying. Oh, I am playing it, and there is there's some old decaying rust there. That's got an American star on it. I don't think it is American, but who knows? I don't. is a privilege to have access to a lot of Salisbury Plain. I know that some just come for the mud, but if you want to get away from it a little bit and see a bit of nature, it's a great place. I've seen this avenue of trees before. I'd say avenue, but it's sort of like a line of them, and it is almost like an avenue. I don't know what the significance of that was. I don't know if that was an avenue to something or to somewhere, but they were obviously planted like that for a reason. Have a little look over this viewpoint here. Well, the wind doth blow up here. That lovely sea of green. going to say, I'm sure there's another byway that you've got access to. Is that it, or am I thinking of somewhere else? No, that's a bridle way. No, I'm thinking of somewhere else, I think. But anyway, never mind. So you've got the two ways of coming in or out of Imber, and it's well worth the trip. Like I say, you can spend, you've never been, you can spend quite a bit of time in the church reading through all the historical articles and looking at the historical photos of the place. Grab yourself a coffee and a cake in there, support the church. But yeah, lovely place. Okay, this is where I will end this video, and I hope you enjoyed this little adventure, and I'll catch you on the next one.